Hi, this is Steve Sabadeski, publisher of ValueBuzz.com, and what we're going to do right now is just take a quick tour of the Twitter feeds on Trump and Clinton. I'm just going to use 4 or 5 of Trump and 4 or 5 of Clinton. These are the top or the most recent top stories. And okay, so here, one secret of Trump's low-cost campaign, free labor, that Trump has run a cheap campaign by not paying at least 10 top staffers. That's from Reuters. And obviously it looks like our friend Paul might be one, so that's a story that we need to check out. Of course, this one is always at the top. Mexico will pay for the wall. 50,000 actually likes. Now, former President Fox of Mexico says that Trump would have to be born again to fix the Hispanic relationship. Here's one that is Laugh Out Loud GOP, says the press let Trump get away with being a birther for years. It'll be a damn shame if Black church does the same. Trump is supposed to speak to a minister, a Black minister, 7 of the hundreds of questions that Trump needs to answer. That's the article, and the question is, what will be the questions? And apparently that's going to be recorded, and it won't be live. And I'm not sure if it's going to be scripted or not. I heard yesterday it will be scripted. Now, Media Matters is responding to Newt Gingrich here, and he's saying that, hey, you send emails about all these really crazy things like cures for cancer, and saying that Fort Knox was empty, and because now Newt Gingrich is using Facebook Live to talk about Bill and Hillary being the first grafters running for president, and that's live now on Facebook Live with Newt Gingrich. Here's one, and this is really curious. Trump's attack on legal immigration is not something a major nominee has done in the last 16 years. Article here from Los Angeles Times, no more nation of immigrants. Trump plan calls for. I'd have to wonder. I mean, I don't think that Trump was really calling for no more immigrants. I think his focus was no more illegal immigrants. But we'll have to see exactly how that plays out. Okay, so now we're back and we're looking at Hillary Clinton. Here's an article here that says Clinton announces plan to address the unjustified price hikes on life-saving drugs. That's been in the news lately. That's a Reuters story. As we scroll down, Hillary is saying that Trump just failed his first foreign test. Now, here is a story that's just breaking from the Washington Post, but Breitbart is saying the FBI releases report on its investigation into Hillary's use of a private email server. That's the report that everybody's been looking for, and you can see it's from the Washington Post. The materials include what appears to be a summary of Clinton's interview with agents. So it's a summary. Now, here's kind of some also from Breitbart that mentions Clinton, and this is talking about Ben Carson slams Clinton plan to move Syrian refugees into Detroit, and saying, hey, we have our own problem to deal with here in Detroit, and there are people, plenty of people in Detroit who look like they could be refugees. That's how bad things are for some people in Detroit. That's from Breitbart News, and it's citing Ben Carson. This is, of course, Bloomberg, also related to the same issue. This here is just Souza saying that at Hillary, America settles the debate between Trump and Clinton once and for all. Hillary America's the movie. That's a very anti-Hillary movie, backed by popular demand, which is really this party of segregation, slave, and the KKK. Hillary's America, the secret history of the Democratic Party. And let me just say this, I think that that's really unfair. And why? Well, the Democratic Party, where Robert Byrd, segregation, slavery, KKK, no question, that was the Democratic Party, and that did this in the 50s. But starting in the 60s, and actually I would say late 50s, things changed, and the Democratic Party became, in many respects, the party of integration. The Republican Party, on the other hand, with the emergence of the Sudden strategy, became the Republican Party. And so it flip-flopped. And that's the way it's been now ever since the 60s, 70s, 80s, through the Reagan administration, and now the Trump campaign. So to point to the past Democratic Party, who certainly was associated with Robert Byrd, KKK, and slavery, and all, that's true. And but you got to look at fast forward and say, well, what's happened in the last say 60, 70 years? The Trump people and the Republicans are quick to say, well, Robert Byrd was a KKKer, and how can you point to David Duke? Well, the fact is that Robert Byrd actually was a KKKer in the 40s. I think he cleaned up his act in the 50s, repented, and then became a liberal Democrat, the most liberal U.S. senator other than, say, Ted Kennedy. And in fact, the blacks praised Robert Byrd. So I think this is just hogwash and, quite frankly, propaganda. But there is propaganda on both sides. But this is one that I think just happens to be on my Twitter feed, but one that I just felt like ought to be addressed. So check back with us. I want to emphasize that the Hillary FBI releases the details. You can get that on Bloomberg, and you can get it also from Washington Post. Thank you.